Hello viewers, my name is Eric and welcome to another episode of YOLO Truck Simulator. With me, Eric. Now, I am slightly pissed right now, but not that much. And, I have some topics to talk about, so let me just get a job real quick, and then we'll get underway. Excuse the coherency of this episode. I may or may not speak properly or form coherent thoughts. There we go. The game itself, okay. I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say right now. Well, yeah, I tried out, the multiplayer mod for Euro Truck Simulator 2, and, it is a bit buggy in that the cargo, I guess the bases, you can call it the bases, aren't really quite well made or something. I don't know. Like when you deliver your cargo to a factory and you're trying to park your truck, at the same time some other guy who's getting a mission. So when you're trying to finish your mission, some other guy who's trying to start a mission will occupy the same trailer spot as you. So essentially you can't while you're trying to park your truck in a spot, at the same spot some other guy is trying to get his trailer. So and that of course results in conflicts, which means that you can't really deliver your stuff properly if someone else's trailer is just spawned in. Also, I recently got Scania Truck Simulator, and just made me realize how inadequate of a virtual truck driver I am, which is of course of no consequence, since this was supposed to be my mellow out game. But now that I realize that my skill level is far below anyone else's, it just greatly reduces the enjoyment I get from playing it. And of course there's a whole thing about peer pressure not being an issue. Well, it is. Your whole life is about your relative values. How well your life is compared relatively to someone else's. For example, you might complain about having diseases, but not so much if everyone else had the same disease. So that's what I mean when I say that it's all relative. Like, for example, I personally, in a world that does not have relative values, I would just want my life to be perfect. But there are so many things about modern human life that aren't perfect, even for people living in civilized places. Modern human life just isn't that perfect. It's far from perfect. We still have a long way to go before life becomes even remotely desirable. Like, if there's this thought I often have, because I didn't ask to be born, so that's generally my way of looking at life. I didn't ask to be born. I didn't choose to come into this world, this shitty ass world. And if I were like some kind of ghost or something, looking down and deciding whether or not to come to Earth, I wouldn't do that. Not even if it had like good implications, not even to contribute to society. I just wouldn't come here. Like, not in like a few thousand years, maybe 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 a few millennia afterwards, when things such as war, poverty, hunger has totally been eliminated, and everyone is allowed to pursue their own hopes, dreams, and stuff. Then maybe I'll consider coming to this world. But right now, this world just isn't the best place to be compared to perfection. And so I don't like this world. I don't like Earth, and I definitely don't like the idea of heaven. Like, if the Christian heaven is the I recall, I don't know if this is exactly correct, but the Christian heaven is supposedly some kind of the popular conception of the Christian heaven is sort of this white cloudy setting with angels and harps and worshipping, and there's this other conception I have that apparently I've heard about in church about some kind of Christian heaven called the arms of Abraham or something. I don't know what is it exactly, but if that's the best it's gonna get, then I don't fucking want it. So to me, as an atheist, the Christian heaven as well as the Christian hell, to me it's called hell number 1 and hell number 2, because I don't want to be in neither when I die. Fuck. So, yeah. Also, as I've said, I have downed a single can of beer, so this might not be the greatest, safest journey ever. But I haven't damaged my trailer yet, so that's good. Let's get going. Ah, physics. Why are things so slippery? Why are things not slippery? That's what I want to say. What the hell? What the hell is the hold up? So I think I've actually gotten worse at driving this game. Primarily because I stopped giving a fuck. Well, not really. I still give a tiny bit of a fuck, but mostly I just don't really care about this game. Like, I've got the automatic transmissions set to something called adaptive automatic transmission, which does not, which basically, as you can see from the RPM gauge, it basically is configured for drag race, like so it changes gear when the RPM has reached the maximum levels for this gear setting. So it probably is not very fuel efficient, but it is simple and it is fast. And besides, like, in this is a game, and I don't really care about fuel consumption, since fuel isn't such a big factor in cost. Like, fuel doesn't cost jack shit in this game. So, fuel costs aren't really a concern. Besides, only in a computer game can you afford to waste such amounts of fuel without feeling any ethical repercussions. So, yeah. So if I get the opportunity, I'm gonna waste it. Same as in like flight sim games, I don't really do fuel calculations. I just take off with a full tank, because like only in a computer game can you afford to do that. Isn't it amazing? Like, seriously. Something I foresee in the future is that, like, humans are always coming up with these new ways to transport. We had cars, and then boats, and then planes, and then now we have spaceships. But I figure that in the future we don't eliminate the in the future. I figure that um we will still have roughly the same kinds of transportation vehicles as we have today. We will still have like these inefficient cars, inefficient planes, and inefficient trains, etc. But we will be able to reduce the need for transportation with probably technology such as, for example, holographic technology if we ever get to that. Because if we can simulate being there to a degree of accuracy and realism that's so immersive that we might as well be there, then we wouldn't need to travel. So basically, we don't invent better ways of traveling. We just eliminate the need for traveling. Like right now, I can sit at home at my computer and I can basically get on Wikipedia and I can find any knowledge in the world. Like almost any basic knowledge in the world. I don't have to like go to a find some kind of professor or something. I just stay at my home. I don't even have to leave the house. And that is something that shows really the need for technology. How much technology is really needed in modern society. And this need will only decrease, well, I suspect at least this need for technology for transportation will only decrease in the future. So we will still have, and there's this other thing I hope that is that in the future all vehicles, ground-based vehicles, will transition to electric power, so that all the fossil fuel can be used for important stuff, such as air travel. You know, because air travel, we really can't rely on electricity for air travel. And I knocked over a lamppost there, but whatevs. Anyway, there really aren't any yeah, as I said, there really aren't any fuel alternatives for air travel, so fossil fuels is probably gonna be the way to go in the future. However, like cars don't really need fossil fuels. Batteries are sufficient for most cars, especially urban cars, for doing short hauls. So hopefully in the future we will eliminate the need for fossil fuel based cars and transition into full-on electric vehicles. The primary obstacle, of course, is the price of batteries. And batteries are expensive, and that's why people don't have electric cars, but hopefully that will change, as it is already. I think, yeah, costs of batteries are decreasing. Hopefully they'll decrease more. Because really, electric cars are like a no-brainer. Like if you run out of electricity on the road, you can just stop, basically, and there won't be any repercussions. Worst case scenario, you get out of your car and you push it to the roadside so that it doesn't obstruct the road. But if you are in an electric plane and the plane and the plane runs out of juice, then you basically fall to the ground. Maybe you glide a little bit, but gliding doesn't help much. Doesn't save you from falling to the ground, basically. Ah, crap. Damn it. I fucking hate these speeding offense reminders. Like, 500 euros? Who cares? I mean, obviously, I would care if this was like real life, but this isn't. 500 euros is nothing. I can afford to speed in this game, and I'm going to. So let's just continue. And I'm of course speeding here, speeding right now, because I can't really be bothered to not speed. Actually, I don't I don't like trucks at all. Like, I like Euro Truck Simulator not because it's a truck game, but because it's a highway game that consists of long stretches of highways for someone to drive, for me to drive on and on and on in. Because like trucks, as you've probably seen from, as you can see from my earlier accident, trucks aren't the best vehicles, and neither are just normal cars. All of them aren't the best vehicles to drive in. But highways, on the other hand, are sweet because they are long stretches of road with without too much of a need for maneuvering. Unlike GTA, where you have to navigate the streets carefully and use handbrakes and all that. But in highway games, you don't need that. You just go on and on and on, and that serves as a really mellow experience, I suppose. One thing I'm hoping for, though, is a realistic sized map, a life-sized map of Euro Truck Simulator, something that is elongated map, so that I could literally drive 8 hours to make a delivery, just so I could experience the real life hassles of a trucker. Real, of course, being TM, because there isn't such a thing as real. Only real is real. Simulations will get closer and closer to real. They will get to the point of being indistinguishable, but they won't be real. And although, like, I personally don't really um don't really care for the whole authentic thing. Like, if something gives me an experience that is like close enough for me to, for example, if an experience is close enough that I don't see something wrong, I don't sense something wrong, then I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a illusion that might as well be reality. But what I'm not okay with is a illusion that is obviously fake. And I hate when, like, people try to do that. Damn. Alright. Here we go. Euro Truck Simulator's graphics are simplistic, like, you can clearly see that this is a computer game with its polygons and all that, but it's close enough to be believable. Like, you wouldn't care that these trees look fake. And it looks good for a computer game. Right, I gotta navigate this next turn very careful, or I might flip the truck or something. Now, the multiplayer mod is fun, but it needs a bit of work, basically. Like, I would like for there to be some NPCs, like, not a lot, but a small number of NPCs, just to fill the roads, because the roads, like, and trucks aren't sparse, but they are sparse. Shit. No shit. Still no damage, which is amazing. Alright, let's just accelerate the fuck out of here. Well, at least this video will be a testament to the dangers of drunk driving. Alright, slow down, slow down. Damn it. What is this? Boobs, cunt, penis? Shit. Alright. Which is why I love computer games. Everything... there's no consequence. And... like, some people dislike games like GTA, like the violence, because they say, oh, it's inconsequential killing. Well, yeah, that's the point of video games. It's inconsequential. That's why we use computers to do it. So that we don't have to do it in real life, where there are consequences. You know, like... in real life, you know, violence is not wanted in real life. If you kill people in real life, I don't want to know you. But if you kill people in video games, like, no one's dead. It's a victimless crime. It's not a crime because there's no victim. And there's no crime in the first place because you aren't actually killing any human being. Just as the same as the attitude people treat rape jokes and rape games. It's like, you're not actually raping anyone, you're just making a joke. Get over it. Fuck. Jesus. And, you know, because people don't want to admit it, but rape, things like rape, slavery, killing, it's all fun. And that's why people used to do it. Because we figure out that, hey, that looks like a fun thing to do. But then, of course, society went civilized, and we realized that the victims are humans too and have rights, so you can't do that. But that doesn't mean you can't, like... humans have a thirst for power, so we always want to be rulers of something. So even if we aren't slave owners, we want to be slave owners. Even if not literal slave owners, we still want to be bosses, we still want to be parents, you know, authority figures, or politicians to control the world. We still want that. But we are increasingly finding alternatives and replacements for, you know, the more barbaric ways. And that's a good thing. Okay, shit. This next turn is... oh shit, come on. Come on. Well, we haven't crashed yet, and we have no damage to the trailer yet. So far, so lucky. And let's get on, buddy. Damn, this game looks good. I recently bought this game legitly on Steam. Before that, I was running a pirated version, and the reason I bought it on Steam was obviously because of the pink truck bug, which is a creative, I must say, copy protection employed by the developers. And while I think that it is a creative anti-piracy measure, it is, however, like I myself, I would consider myself a software duplicator. I pirate lots of software, mostly because I can't afford them. Like, I can afford a good computer, but after spending money on the computer as well as other stuff, I have little, and if not any, cash left to buy software. And that's why I pirate mainly. And I feel that obviously copyright, it's a sad thing, really, because on the one hand, we shit, fucking hell, I fucking hate NPCs. So on the one hand, there's the need to compensate content creators. So there is a need, like, there needs to be an incentive for people to create stuff, and that's why we have copyright and patents and stuff, because the people who make up this shit need to get paid. But on the other hand, you know, ideas are free to copy. Like, a download costs more or less nothing. And it's just wrong that something is being charged for nothing. Like, software, like, we also like to think of ways like, oh, the Star Trek universe is brilliant. What if we could make a replicator in Star Trek, which could basically replicate foods and stuff. Well, we can indeed replicate. We already have a working replicator called the internet, called the computer, and it replicates information like really well. Like, this game I have is probably more or less a carbon copy of the same game that someone else has on their computer. And all this done at, well, practically, which should be done at zero cost, but actually, of course, costs whatever the game charges for its price. I bought it at about $7. But yeah, these things, they themselves don't cost a single penny. They don't cost money at all to replicate, and that's a good thing, because it marks a step for society where we are moving away from forcing people to pay for stuff. Like, for example, I in education, like, my textbooks, most of them cost like around $80, and that is a huge price to pay for higher education. And not everyone can afford that, and not everyone is a scholarship student who will necessarily do well in school to get that scholarship to pay for their tuition and school books and stuff. But everybody deserves an equal chance for education. So with copyright gone, everyone could enjoy the same textbooks. As a simple example, everyone could enjoy the same textbooks, and as a result, everyone would get basically educational equality. And this, of course, does not apply only to textbooks. Like, remember that there was that thing where the RIAA claimed that the world owes the music industry like billions of dollars. Well, the news is that, of course, the billions of dollars were never there. Like, the people who pirated the songs weren't going to, most of them weren't going to buy the songs to begin with. But on the other hand, when you consider the billions of dollars, it's not revenue lost by the music industry, it is the music gained by the world and its society. So when you think of it that way, free music is actually a good thing, because it is society's gain, allows the entirety of society to enjoy on something that more or less doesn't cost the content creator anything. Like, doesn't cost anything. Maybe it does cost the content creators. Like, maybe the artist or the label or something earns a few less pennies, but as the upside, your your book or your song or your movie brought this person this amount of joy, and all he had to do was, break the law. In my ideal society, I have this idea concept called the copyright tax, in which governments will collect a set amount of tax from taxpayers and use them to buy intellectual property off into public domain, and that way something that originally costs money can now be free for public use. In the same way, I think that all patents should be removed. Like, there are often these remember there is this Chinese version of Oculus Rift. I forgot what it's called, but anyway, it's basically a, yeah, it's called the anti VR or something. It's a Chinese Oculus Rift style VR kit made by a Chinese team, and in the news report pages that reported the anti VR kit, there were all these comments saying that, oh, Chinese are ripoffs, they are copying Oculus Rift's design and all that. Well, good, because if they are, and even if they are, even though they probably aren't, since Chinese aren't totally useless, but even if they are, it's a good thing, because Oculus Rift is not widely available. It's not like the most widely available VR kit ever. Like, you have to buy the dev kit, you have to put a pre-order months before, and then you have to wait, and then there's this limited production and all that. So it's good that there's a alternative, even if the alternative is just a supposed ripoff. Like, ripoffs are a good thing, because they provide equality for the consumer. For example, the anti-VR kit will ship at a lower price and offer more peripherals, maybe at a reduced quality, I don't know. But even if it is, it's consumer's choice. A consumer will get to choose if they want the Oculus Rift kit that is supported by most contemporary games, or if they want to buy the anti-VR kit, which promises the same features but at a reduced cost and probably reduced amount of guarantee, reduced quality or something. So basically, that is their choice. And now they have the option, and it's a good thing, because and as for patents, like, it's the widespread sharing of information. A patent really is just a piece of information on how something would work, So okay. Fuck it, let's just continue. After all, we still have 700 in-game kilometers to go. Yeah, so a patent is just a piece of information concerning how something should work. And that piece of information, if everyone were allowed to build upon it, it would that aspect of technology would develop rapidly. But the problem now is that since people are so afraid, since our society currently is sort of like this work-based society where everybody is worrying about jobs, because without a job, without contributing to society, society won't contribute to you. So that's how our current society works. We work for society, and in turn, so we work for society, and society gives us money, symbolizing its debt to us, and in turn, we cash in that debt by buying stuff at the grocery store to keep ourselves alive. But this is an unhealthy attitude because it implies that we must somehow earn our living instead of just because there's such a thing called the sanctity of life, where everyone is entitled to a life regardless of their ability to contribute to society. So it shouldn't be that only the um, only the employable are granted a decent lifestyle. Everybody should be granted a decent lifestyle. And that could be accomplished if we, and of course this is gonna be like a broken record, not coming from me but from the internet, a broken record thing. If we just remove all the funding from the military and we divert that into into basically giving that money to the poor, then we would have social equality. But that clearly is not happening because people are paranoid assholes, and because they're not paranoid assholes because there genuinely are these other assholes who would just make these paranoid assholes paranoia a reality. So it's both of these problems that prevent our society from becoming an open society that doesn't require contribution, doesn't truly selflessly um help everyone gain a reasonable living. So it's that attitude that really sucks, because everybody deserves to live. Everybody only has one life, so maybe if this truck had better damage modeling, if this truck had damage modeling, then I would take more care not to crash this. And also, I hope that in the future there will be a game called World, basically an airplane version of YOLO Truck Simulator, because that is something I could get interested in, since I'm a fan of air travel. I've logged many hours on flight sims, even though I still don't know how to do ATC, and I still don't. I mean, I know how to operate FSX. I know how to operate Flight Simulator X's built-in ATC, but other than that, like I don't know a lot about. I don't know how to. Air travel is still largely a mystery to me, especially things like radios. I mostly just use the in-game GPS for most of my navigations. Oh, boo-hoo, speeding offense. Fucking jackass holes. Alright, let's continue. Star Citizen, Chris Roberts has said that even though the game is the coding is realistic, like the coding simulates all aspects of having thrusters to main to using thrust to make the spaceships fly like airplanes. They use real scientific stuff to simulate flying in atmosphere. Chris Roberts also said that uh, full realism is, well, something to the effect of uh, full realism cannot be fun, and I have to challenge that. There's something I would like to see that is doesn't really happen. Has not been made yet, but I'm sure it's possible. It's basically Call of Duty, but on the Arma engine. Call of Duty on the Arma engine, something like that. So something a basically a shooting ground that is ridiculously easy. That allows you to mow down tons of, for example, one thing I can think of is, for example, a helicopter rail shooter that has you on the guns of a helicopter, and but you are like a kilometer or so above ground, so your enemies can't really hit you accurately, but you can hit them more accurately, so that greatly gives you the advantage. And allows for Call of Duty like gameplay where it's just a uh well, gun shooting arcade game, but in a realistic setting. So I think that realism and fun don't necessarily conflict. Like, you could always have A's. Like, for example, I don't get why games like realistic games, they often tout like, oh, we don't have this ammo counter and we don't have this mini map, so we don't have tagging. You have to tag things by your brain. Like, no, I'm not a soldier. I'm not trained to tag things by my brain. When I play games, I want realism, but I also want fun. And I know that, like, realistically, immersively, a soldier, the soldier who I'm playing right now, would mentally tag the targets, so that I don't have to. Since I'm the player, I'm not a soldier. I don't have to know that shit. And some people are like, "Oh no, that is cheating." It's not it's not challenging. Well, some people, we don't always play games for a challenge. Like, when I only play games for a challenge when I'm looking for a challenge. Sometimes I am what you would call a content surfer. I just want to get through the campaign and see what the campaign is about. And other times, I just want to shoot stuff. Like, I don't want to, like, for example, let me give you an example. For example, if your job is like an accountant or something, you spend your day, or maybe you're a silent scientist or something, you spend your day at your job using your brain. When you get home, you sit at your computer, you don't want to use your brain anymore. Because you already used it. It's your job. You're tired of using your fucking brain. You want to just get a nice mindless video game, and then the video game comes up and says, "Hey, here, use some more of your brain." You're like, "What? No, I don't. I ran out of brain. Okay, I used that up all on my job." And what do you do then? You can't do anything because the job was designed for using your brain. And that is what I hate about people who think that all games must be challenging, because sometimes games just about achieving a goal. Like, whether or not the goal was very hard to, like, that's what games should always have difficulty settings. It might be difficult to balance the game to fit both types of gameplay. Like, if you balance the game for a content server, you can't balance it the same way you do for someone looking for a challenge. But on the other hand, it would be nice if easy mode has an invincibility card, while hard mode is really challenging but doable and gives you a great sense of gratification when you finish it, when you finish a game. And that is how it should be. Because not everyone is like. I don't like multiplayer games. Not. I like co-op games, but I don't like the PvP games because there's too much of an emphasis on skill. And I know that sometimes skill can be really, people are proud of their skill, they're proud of their reflexes, but I'm not. I don't have good skills or reflexes, so I don't like those games. And I don't like PvP as a result, because I always lose, and I don't like losing. And I play games to win, even if it means, setting the difficulty lower than what people would normally set the difficulty to. Alright, here's a classic maneuver. YOLO Truck Simulator still has like some of the best mouse controls. One of the best commands you could do via the console of this game is to turn off the traffic in the game, so that you could just have the open road all to yourself. Like, that would probably be a trucker's wet dream. Just have the entire road all to yourself. You can go as fast as you like without worrying about hitting someone. Just like that. You wouldn't have to worry about that kind of shit happening, because it won't happen. But right now the road is populated and it's fucking annoying. These NPCs. I got 2 games in the Steam Summer Sale. I got Dishonored and Skyrim. Dishonored, I played a little bit, not really a lot. I couldn't get past the first level. I couldn't even escape from the prison. So, I'm not really into that yet. But Skyrim, on the other hand, is proving to be fun. And I've downloaded a bunch of mods to enhance the game experience. I'll probably try to find a gun mod at some point, so that I could just, shoot up all those magic wielding bastards. Because I fucking hate magic. Like, I've always fantasized about a modern super carrier, something like the what you call it? Well, just a modern nuclear carrier gets sent back in time, so it enters some kind of time anomaly, and then is sent back in time, and then the carrier and its fighters just roll in the face of the ancient empires, and then the people of the carrier, they manage to get the ancient people to adopt our modern ways, and then by doing that, accelerate the development of civilization by whatever amount of time they were traveled back in to. It'll be like just no resistance, just because how can you resist a bunch of fighters, like fighters in the air? Your bows can't shoot that high. Can't shoot that high, can you? So just a super carrier gets thrown back in time, and ultimately, uh, it be, a it becomes a good thing. Damn it! Visit service station immediately. That's something I hate about this game. Is these things that prevent you from rushing these stations. And also, I also hate the NPCs. And I hate the short roads. And I hate the wacky physics that topples your truck way too easily. How far along are we? Warsaw Sand Builders. Fucking hell. Warsaw or something. That's probably how it's pronounced. By the way, I'm probably gonna categorize this as a podcast, since, the gameplay actually is not very fun. It's just driving down a road, intoxicated a bit, and trying to get to the destination as fast as possible. We are severely overspeeding right now. But that isn't a huge problem. And we go. And not the other end. $250 kilometers. Shut up. So yeah, one thing, a suggestion for the devs, is to add the option to just set the notifications as a short notice that doesn't fill up my main GPS, because I need that GPS for information on my routes and stuff. Drag race. Alright. That's probably not very good for the brakes, but then again, virtual brakes, so who the fuck cares? Hopefully the superior speed of this truck will get us to our destination in time. In time for what? I don't know. There are my brights. There aren't my brights. There are my brights, and we'll just keep it that way. Now if you go by the speed as indicated in the ETA, we're going about about 0.5 kilometers per second, which is faster than most airplanes, most like supersonic, which is sort of the speed, around the speed of a supersonic jet. So, and that is pretty damn fast. Long, awkward silence. Exactly what real truck, real highway experiences are. Just long periods of awkward silence. There we go. Boom! Serve you right for being a pedestrian. Fucking peds. Fuck! Alright. Well, that's a lesson learned. Always leave around, at least around 30 meters for braking distance. Otherwise, you will crash. As I did just now. But regardless, this will always be profitable. That's one of the things I like about this game, is that it doesn't punish you a lot for crashing or, you know, breaking the law. Like, you could, it doesn't, like, I must have, like, oversped about, in front of the speed camera. I must have violated this, you know, speeding laws in front of a camera about a few hundred times. Probably even up to the thousands. But, you know, there isn't like a 3 strikes thing in this game, so, you know, I could do it just forever. So I think that's a good thing. Alright, there is another checkpoint. Let's try to break the right braking distance this time. 1, 2, 3, go! Ah, that was too far. Every time we miss the, we missed the, optimal braking distance. But, you know, suicide burns can't always be perfect. $35 kilometers left. There's a view you haven't seen often. Now, if we only had 40 kilometers left, then we would get there in about 37 in-game minutes. That is obviously the case. Man, I can't wait to get a Oculus Rift. Of course, not anytime soon, since I don't have the money. But when I do, I'm gonna get a Oculus Rift, and then I'm gonna play this thing, and I'm gonna feel like a real trucker. You know, the real trucking sadness that accompanies the job. Fucking driving around just to earn a measly, you know, few bucks. Alright, here's another chance. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Alright, we missed the optimal braking distance again, but no biggie. Just small. Out of my way, postbid. You know, the horn's always fun. Hey, stop cutting into my lane, jackass. Hey, stop bumping into my car, jackass. fucking sometimes I just want a autopilot. I just want to sit back and, watch the journey. Like that's what I really want to do. Like I don't even like flight sims. I just want to, I just like this is probably a funny thing to say, but I just like the passenger experience. I just like the feeling of being at the seat and waiting while the plane or whatever gets to its destination. Boom. Thankfully we weren't dead. Green light, green light, green light. Alright. Always practice the correct use of lights. Sun builders. I think there's enough room to maneuver around the back. What do you think? Yep, there is. Tolerable. Yeah, I've never seen a message worse than tolerable. Even though tolerable is pretty bad. But hey, we still got 70,000. That minus the repair costs, which I'm gonna show you right now. So, 70,000 euros earned. And a bit of a engine malfunction every now and then. I wish there was a performance mod you could do to the trucks, like in-game, an in-game performance mod that lowered the center of gravity, so that I could perform, more turns, better turns, and all that. So here we go. What does it say? Service 70,000. So he still earned 50,000 euros, even after probably crashing and killing ourselves. But hey, this was a fun episode, hopefully. So, my name was Eric, and until next time, stuff happens.